Hi, this is Catherine Schneider from the Fitchburg Historical Society. The Fitchburg Historical Society is so excited about preparing for our spring program, which is later this month. And we are so happy to welcome one of our speakers who is going to be presenting for that spring program, Steve Arnold. And Steve is here, of course, former mayor of the city of Fitchburg, and he's also on the Wisconsin Bicycle Federation board. So, Steve, we want to just excite people about our coming program and turn to you with some questions about it to just perk people's interest. So maybe first of all, starting out with your own background and interest in the world of biking. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Thanks for having me on. It's going to be a great program because it's about biking. And so I was originally trained as an ecologist. I was an ecology professor teaching biostatistics and aquatic ecology for 4 years. But after that, I got sucked into the world of information technology. So I worked on statistical software and then networking software and finally email over my career. Finally retiring from being an independent consultant in 2006. And at that time, I went to work for the university as an IT management consultant. And so I had this choice, living in Fitchburg and working on campus. Should I pay $800 a year for parking or get a free transit pass? So how to decide. So I became a transit user. And in 2007, the following year, I thought to myself, it's Bike to Work Week in May. Why not give it a try? And I had this old 90s vintage road bike that my wife had traded my even older bike for, and started riding into campus every day. I worked at the mechanical engineering building, and that's right next to the Shell, so I could go to the Shell and get a shower and then be fresh for my work. And I've always hated to do exercise for exercise's sake. I'd never go to the gym. But, you know, it's beautiful to get transportation biking, save money, get 2 workouts a day. And so that summer, my wife said, you know, you've been saving so much money, you should buy yourself a new bike. So I bought a bike. I had an unfortunate incident in 2010. I was biking to a haircut and got smacked by a Prius. Fortunately, it wasn't an F-150, and therefore I survived. But in the settlement, I ended up with 2 bikes. So now I had a winter bike, and I became a 4-season commuter instead of a 3-season commuter. And so I continued through that. When I was on the council from 2005 to 2015. So during that period, I was involved with city policy and city investments, and one of the things I wanted to do was make Fitchburg a bicycle-friendly place to ride, safe and fun. I had joined the National League of American Bicyclists, the Bike League, and the Bike Fed, and so we were interested in making it a better place to bike. My feelings were that there are few problems in society that cannot be solved by more people biking. So congestion, health, pollution, economic development, transportation, and so on. So that was one of the things that I worked on over the years, and of course continued to bike. When I retired from gainful employment, I suddenly had no place to ride to every day, and so then I had to take up recreational biking, and I'm principally a road bicyclist.
All right, wonderful. What a great background to bring to that and your own story of getting involved in biking and the reasons people do that are fascinating. Well, let's move on to the program and the title of the program, the details of when and where it's going to be, and your partner in presentation, and then who's invited.
Sure. So when I heard that this was your topic and you were looking for a speaker, I immediately thought of my friend Nick Hoffman, who also serves with me on the board of the Wisconsin Bike Fed, our statewide advocacy group. He wrote this, co-authored this amazing book, Wheel Fever, How Wisconsin Became a Great Bicycling State. And we took it upon ourselves that he will speak first and talk about the history of Wisconsin from the golden age of biking in the 1890s up through probably the second golden age of biking in the 70s. And he'll speak on that, and then I'll talk about, you can see the book's subtitled How Wisconsin Became a Great Biking State. So I will be basically talking about how Fitchburg became a great biking city.
The local piece.
And that's Bring It Home. And so we titled it The History of Biking in Wisconsin and Fitchburg. Has been announced. It will be on April 27th. That's Sunday afternoon. That is our regular Fitchburg Historical annual meeting date. So there will be a short business meeting as part of it. It will run from 1:30 to 3, and it will be at the Fitchburg Public Library in the big meeting room upstairs. You don't have to be a Historical Society member to attend. Everyone is invited. It's probably not good for toddlers, but anybody who's interested in biking, family-friendly, kids and adults. So please all come and bring your friends.
Great, great. Thank you. Thank you for that preview of the basics. And then can you give us a taste of what you'll be talking about during your presentation? Anything more you wanted to say about that?
Sure. Well, as I mentioned, it's going to be the kind of the intersection of history and biking. And Nick is a historian. I am not, but Nick's a historian and works for the State Historical Society. And so he'll be talking about some of the trends. Bicycling in the 1890s was an amazingly powerful social movement. It fed into women's liberation. It was a showcase of discrimination and repression in some ways. In those days, it was very controversial about who may bike and who was appropriate to bike. And if you were a white male, you were in, but others not so much. And I'm sure that Nick will mention that. I'll be talking about some of the natural advantages that Fitchburg had to become a great biking city. We sometimes wonder where this came from as people see roads being rebuilt to urban sections as the city's developed area expands into its rural area, and say, well, why do we need all these bike lanes and paths, and what's the purpose, and where did this come from? And I'll talk about our bicycle and pedestrian plans, the role of our Chamber of Commerce, and other things that got us to where we are today.
Great. That's great. And then what are the reasons to encourage people to come and enjoy the program?
Well, I think that it's going to be interesting if you live here or visit or work here to kind of see what the underpinnings of why we are in this direction. I think that it's always useful to understand origins and things like that, why things are the way they are, and it makes it less difficult to deal with change. And change is happening like crazy around Fitchburg. As we say at the Fitchburg Historical Society, history is yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
Yes.
And so we'll see what our trajectory is, and it will allow people that don't bike to see what the people who do bike are thinking about, why they behave the way they do, what kinds of facilities they need to be safe, how you can coexist with them peacefully. Maybe you'll want to take up biking.
All right, all right. Well, a deeper understanding from in the community, and also just historically where things have come from and why we are where we are. Thank you. Could you let us know maybe a couple of questions you'll be addressing during the program that might surprise or intrigue people without revealing the answer? So it's kind of a lead-in without a teaser. Yes.
Well, I think that one of the interesting things Nick will take up will be some of the colorful figures in the history of cycling in Wisconsin, especially in the Milwaukee area. So that should be, I think, interesting to people. And I think that people will be interested to see why Fitchburg, in what ways Fitchburg is a world leader in developing for bicycling. So that you watch for that.
Oh yes, thank you. That sounds so impressive and interesting. It's always interesting to hear individual stories of people, and then also though why your own community is well known for in this area. Sounds very, very intriguing and interesting, Steve. My last question is why you are excited about biking for yourself and then for others.
Well, I already blew this because I already told you that it's because there are a few things. So being trained as an ecologist, I'm sort of an environmentalist as well. I'm concerned about sustainability. So for me, the fact that you can buy a bike, even an expensive bike, and totally neutralize the carbon impact of its manufacture and disposal by riding 300 or 400 miles. So now everything's positive. Every time you replace a car trip, you are contributing to making things better. And so I ride about last year I was on a tear, maybe 2,500 miles in the year. And it's a way that people can make things better, have fun. Just like yesterday, this weekend when I was walking and encountered Nick on the Capitol Concourse, who was biking. It's a much more social experience to travel by bike and by walking than it is in a car where you're isolated. So those are some of the things that rev me up about biking and make me want to get other people interested in it. And so that's why I participate. I'm a league cycling instructor for the National Bike League. I'm on the board, of course, for the Bike Fed, and I'm also the treasurer of Bike Fitchburg, our local advocacy organization. And that has taken a lot of my time in retirement, and I feel like it's time well spent.
Great, great. Thank you, Steve, so much.
It's been a pleasure, and I look forward to our presentation coming up.
For sure. I think everyone will be excited about the program coming up. We'll just repeat that it is on Sunday, April 27th, and it will be at 1:30 in the afternoon, Fitchburg Public Library, up in the upper area, the big meeting room, and everyone is invited. So we hope lots of people come and enjoy our program with both Steve and Nick Hoffman as our presenters.
Did we say it's free?
And we said it's free. Oh, absolutely, absolutely free.
It's free.
It's absolutely free. Thank you so much, Steve,
My
for
pleasure.
being with us today.